Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Show all council members are in attendance and would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Tonight we have three proclamations. It's been a busy month in October for proclamations. The first one is designating November 1st as Extra Mile Day. City of Council Bluffs, Iowa, Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas Council Bluffs, Iowa is a community that acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Council Bluffs, Iowa is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And Council Bluffs, Iowa is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go that extra mile in order to make a difference and lift fellow members of their community. And whereas Council Bluffs, Iowa acknowledges the mission of the Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile cities in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st of 2016. Now, therefore, I, Matt Walsh, Mayor of the City of Council Bluffs, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2016 as Extra Mile Day in the City of Council Bluffs, Iowa, and urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, and world a better place. With the seal of the City of Council Bluffs, I do here so by proclaim. Anybody here from the Extra Mile? And we do have somebody from type 1 diabetes, which is the second one. A great organization who's fighting to eradicate type 1 diabetes. City of Council Bluffs, Iowa, Office of the Mayor proclamation, whereas each year more than 20,000 children and 20,000 adults are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, T1D, in the United States, and the National Institutes of Health report that T1D among people under the age of 20 rose by 21% between 2001 and 2009. And if unabated, the prevalence of the disease will double every generation. And whereas T1D accounts for nearly $15 billion a year in healthcare costs, and diabetes in all forms costs the American economy $245 billion a year. And whereas Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation is the leading global organization funding research to end T1D, and is committed to an ongoing stream of life-changing therapies that lessen the impact of T1D. Therefore, I, Matt Walsh, Mayor of the City of Council Bluffs, does hereby proclaim November 1st, 2016 as T1D Day in the City of Council Bluffs, and I encourage all citizens to recognize T1 Day and raise awareness of T1D, what it is, who has it, what is being done about it, and to celebrate the people that live with type 1 diabetes every day. With the seal of the City of Council Bluffs, I do hereby proclaim. Do you want to address the council? No? You're welcome to if you want.
I'm just right here.
No, if you'd come to the podium, that'd be perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Type 1 diabetes, it affects about 1.25 million Americans, and it's an autoimmune disease. So there's nothing to prevent it, unfortunately, right now. And when somebody's diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, their life is then full of insulin injections, carb counting, blood sugar tests, and it's all day, every day. You know, parents don't sleep at night, and kids, you know, and adults that have it, you know, it's just this ongoing thing. They never really get a day off. And so we appreciate you guys proclaiming November 1st as Type 1 Diabetes Day, and just recognition for all of the work that our community is doing to support those living with Type 1, and really just honoring them and their day-to-day lives of all they have to do to deal with the disease. And as JDRF, our mission is to find a cure, and we're in it for the long haul, and there's some great therapies that happen every day with the support of our community and our advocates across the country. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the third proclamation is something I wanted to do after the passing of Dick Walder last week. Dick was a entertainment promoter, a former state legislator, and one of the original members of the Mid-America Center Board of Directors. He made a huge impact in many people's lives throughout the metropolitan area. And so, City of Council Bluffs, Iowa, Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas Richard Dick Walder, Mr. Showbiz, was a lifelong resident of Council Bluffs and passed away October 15th, 2016 at age 96. Mr. Walder brought in big-time Broadway shows to the Omaha area, such as My Fair Lady, Evita, The Music Man, Cats, and Hello Dolly. And whereas Mr. Walder also founded the Omaha Women's Town Hall Lecture Series, and Mr. Walder served one term in the Iowa legislature, and at the age of 82 became an original member of the Council Bluffs Arena and Convention Center Commission. Therefore, I, Matt Walsh, Mayor of the City of Council Bluffs, do hereby posthumously proclaim October 15th, 2016 as Richard Dick Walder Day in the City of Council Bluffs, and urge citizens to recognize the contributions made to our community by Mr. Walter. So, Dick, Godspeed. All right, tonight we have 6 public hearings. This time and place for a public hearing is advertised on the matter of Resolution 16-264, authorizing the disposal of city property legally described as the west 16.66 feet of Lot 7 and all of Lot 8, Block 2, Thompson's Addition. This proof of publication on file.
It is on file.
Have any written protests been received?
None received.
Is there anyone wishing to speak to the council in regards to this matter? Is there a motion from the council?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we have 5 general obligation bond resolutions in front of the council. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dick, is we're going to read all 5, have a public hearing on all 5. After that, the council will vote individually on each of the 5.
That is correct.
All right. This is time and place for a public hearing as advertised on the matter of Resolution 16-265, instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $4,370,000 in general obligation bonds. The second one is Resolution 16-266, instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $565,000 general obligation bonds. Third one is Resolution 16-267, instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $77,500 in general obligation bonds. The fourth resolution, 16-268, instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $1,107,500 in general obligation bonds. And finally, Resolution 16-269, instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $2,830,000 in general obligation bonds. Is proof of publication on file.
They are all on file.
Have any written protests been received?
None received.
Is there anyone wishing to speak to the council in regards to these 5 bond issuances? Seeing no one, we'll take them individually. Is there a motion on 5B?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yes, at the study session, we had a good discussion with our Director of Finance, Mr. Jordet. And among the many things that we discussed was the same topic that we discussed 2 weeks ago, and back at the time that we approved the capital improvement program plan, and that discussion circled around our ability to bond in future years, more specifically the next 2 years, and then the subsequent years after that are a little under question because a number of variables are in play. There's a number of reasons why our ability to bond will be greatly reduced over the next 2 years, and Mr. Jordet announced some of those, and but the fact remains that we've got some tough decisions to be made. When you look at the CIP and the number of projects that are going to require general obligation bonds over the 5 years of that CIP, it's quite substantial, and this is in large part due to the fact that the voters approved a new police station. That was a lot of money. We have a very expensive West Broadway corridor project that needs to be funded, and of course we have the levy accreditation, which is a must-pay bill, and then there's a myriad of other important projects that have to be done. I'm just concerned that with about 2/3 of this particular bond offering going to projects on River Edge Park, this particular resolution contains $2.57 million more for that particular project, and I'm just concerned that overall we're not making more difficult decisions to preserve that capability over the next couple of years. Nobody knows the future. Nobody knows what it's gonna hold, and so I think that we need to be exercising a little bit more fiscal caution at that point. But I also note that this project, that this resolution includes funding for another number of other important projects, things that do need to be funded. So you do have a number of difficult decisions, but again, our ability to finance and go into debt in future years is a little bit of an open question. And I think because of that, we need to exercise a bit more caution.
I recognize legitimate concerns about fiscal caution and share them generally speaking. I think, however, with regard to these projects, it's just like you and I with the mortgage on our house. There are certain expenses that most of us, me included, can't afford to pay all at once, like a place to live, or a small businessman or businesswoman needing the capital necessary to open that store or to keep the business going with a line of credit so that they can keep working and hire employees and continue to make a living and make a difference. And as a city, I think we've been very prudent in the government, both the council and the mayor have been very prudent in determining those projects that are necessary to go forward. I think a lot of it, like our discussion this afternoon, comes down to what are available other sources, what are available interest rates, what makes sense to borrow for long term. These are not short-term projects, as Mr. Ringenberg has indicated. There are various projects of need to the city. One of them, for example, we spoke of this afternoon was for the first time. The library's now been open 18 years, which surprised me. I thought it was 10 or 12 off the top of my head. Maybe it surprises you too. And we haven't replaced the carpeting or the furniture, any of the furniture in the last 18 years. And the staff has done an admirable job keeping it up. The 300,000, and you heard that correctly, 300,000 residents visits annually to that facility. So 300,000 distinct visits. In 18 years, we've got to continue to invest in our children and the rest of our community in these projects. And I appreciate the fiscal concern, but things such as the River's Edge Park, it leverage a lot of other funding, whether it be from foundations, whether it be significantly from private investment. All these things are crucial to bring in more people so that there are more people to pay those taxes, more businesses to go to hire people. I think we've got to make these necessary investments. And though I generally agree, and as a general proposition, we must look at these costs carefully, I think these particular projects meet that test. And again, I think the mayor and the council have been very prudent and forward-thinking and progressive in this regard. And I wholeheartedly support tonight's issuances. I think they're prudent, conservative steps for the future.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay?
The next public hearing approval is 5C on Resolution 16-266. Is there a motion from the council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yeah, I certainly respect and thank Mr. Watson for his comments, and agree that there are lots of things in the city enterprise that have to be funded, and many good projects and a finite amount of money in which to do all things. This particular resolution concerns funding of projects for the library. And that's what Mr. Watson was just alluding to when he referred to the condition of the carpet in the library. That carpet project was the only project listed for funding in the current fiscal year. The rest of them were future projects. That carpet replacement was $200,000 out of the $565,000 being sought by this bond issue. So that's just kind of another example. While we have a number of worthy projects, whether or not all these things must be done now in a level of fiscal uncertainty, I just have some doubt in that regard. But your comments are well taken.
Well, and these are long-term projects, and there is a placement associated cost with breaking it up into multiple projects, and so that's why they took multiple years of projects and combined them. So, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay?
5D is Resolution 16-267. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay?
5E, Resolution 16-268. Is there a motion?
I move.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And finally, the fifth public hearing on bonding is Resolution 16-269. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, resolutions?
Resolution 16-270, approving the collaboration agreement by and between the City of Council Bluffs, Iowa, the City of Omaha, Nebraska, and various other partners for the preparation and submission of a regional assessment of fair housing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Resolution 16-271, approving the use of 2017 Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Program funds and directing the mayor to submit the 2017 annual plan to the City of Omaha and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Motion to approve, striking part of the wording of the resolution in the last sentence of the resolution under "be it further resolved," such that the language read that the mayor is hereby directed to cause the preparation of a 2017 annual plan which outlines the proposed use of funds as required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, and a period would follow that, striking the language with regard to the contracts with HUD and the City of Omaha. The rationale for that amended language, we discussed this some in the study session today, and it was correctly pointed out that those contracts with HUD are not ready. They're not in draft form, and typically the process is that we go through the grant submission process and the report filing process, and we see what spits back out from in the funding stream at a later time, and then once all that has been sorted out, then we cut the contracts with HUD, or more precisely, HUD tells us what's going to be in the contract. In the news recently is a myriad of new housing regulations submitted by HUD, which will materially change the housing landscape in a number of cities across America, and we don't fully know what those changes are going to be at this time. And some of those changes, I fear, will put the city at somewhat of more of a disadvantage, fiscally and otherwise. So I think it's prudent under the circumstances that we keep this process moving forward, but that the council have an opportunity to see what precisely the obligations are going to be between the city and the Department of Urban and Housing Development.
My assumption would be the statement, keep this process moving forward, is not applicable. You're wanting to throw the baby out with the bath?
No, what I'm saying is that we come back at a later point in time.
Not file the report required by HUD?
No, with the contract, the contract obligations.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we
That's
don't
not
have a
associated
second
with the
for
report.
discussion. Councilman Watson, at this point now.
Sorry, I didn't know if we had a second.
Is there a second?
No.
Motion dies for lack of a second. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve as written.
Second.
Is there discussion?
I think I appreciate my colleagues' comments about this. I think this is one of those situations, and I've had a fair amount of experience with the housing grants. It's a situation in which the funding source, the project must move forward at a timetable of the federal government's choosing, or we run the risk of getting nothing at all. And in years past, when we received less, and we usually do receive less than we'd had hoped for, it's still sizable six figures, sometimes seven, often seven, figures that you pay in federal taxes that if you don't get it, somebody else somewhere else in the country will. And since you're paying for it, I think, again, these go for low and lower middle income housing projects and other things to help people stay in their homes or even get into a decent home with walls that keep out the rain. So we're not talking the Taj Mahal here. We're talking decent things for decent folks. And holding it up puts it all in jeopardy. I appreciate the concern, but I personally believe the risk of delaying it to be much worse for those folks.
And please rest assured, if the changes in HUD requirements are burdensome or onerous, I will be talking to you about
Appreciate
whether or
that
not we go
assurance.
forward with it. And I'm sure staff will have input also, so.
Thank you.
Will we see that at the time that it's completed?
When it comes through, we usually do receive a report. At least that's been my experience in the previous
Well,
5 years.
I'm not talking about the report. I'm talking about the agreement on how we're going to use the funds with HUD. Because all this free money, the fact that it comes with a contract, that's the conditions laid on using the money.
Well, I think tonight the conditions are, frankly, whether we agree with it or not, and on this we probably actually share a great deal of agreement. If I may hazard a guess, it will come with significant conditions: how we spend it, how we report it. The federal government has some pretty strict and onerous requirements, and again, I think we probably agree there are too many. But the fact that the money will come, and if we don't agree to it, someone else will get it. It goes towards needy folks who need the homes, and I agree with you if your concern is there ought to be a better way to do it at the federal level. Preaching to the choir there.
No, my problem is just signing a blank contract, I guess, at this
And
point.
that motion died is my understanding.
Well, I think we're agreeing to a number that would be the number that we've basically given him the high number, and if it comes in less than that, we as fiscally prudent folks have agreed that we won't spend a penny more than we get. I don't think we're agreeing to spend that amount if we don't get it. If that were the motion, and that isn't how it reads to me,
No.
I would of course not support a motion that commits us to spend money we don't have. It says if we do get the money, here's what we intend to do with it. If we don't tell the federal government that, they're not going to give us any money.
No, the new conditions now being handed out, as I understand the HUD regulations, and
Yeah.
again, we don't have a firm handle on what those changes are. But my understanding is regardless of the amount of money that's involved, that HUD is now going to be potentially requiring that the city undertake actions which will obligate it to future housing changes or housing programs that may not be either in the city's interest or the taxpayers' best interest. And to cash that sort of leverage in for a grant,
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed when we see what exactly it is that HUD is proposing.
I frankly, and I appreciate, I agree with you that Congress did recently overrule or attempted to overrule the HUD regulations. And I think, though, a large degree, we're going to have a new president, whoever he or she is, and the rules could change significantly, and they could change significantly tomorrow, as, again, we probably agree on, if I may hazard another guess. Congress, when it does agree to something, tends to change its mind, oftentimes with less than clear reasoning. I think we run that risk with the greatest of respect, no matter who wins the presidency and no matter whether Congress acts or doesn't. And I see the concern, but frankly, it all comes down to, do we want to get back some of that money that our folks pay in federal taxes, or do we want it to go to another community? And that's how the federal government works. Now, you and I may want it to work differently, but if and until that changes,
again,
and I don't see that changing no matter who wins.
Certainly, if the detriment outweighs the benefit, we're not gonna sign the contract, so.
I just hate to see us,
But to speculate that it's gonna be too onerous to involve us when we have no basis for speculation is not good fiscal planning.
I just
Well,
think we
that's
need
why
that
I'm-
money for those projects, those folks.
Okay, just wanted to know what we were signing up for before we sign.
I hear your point.
Any other discussion on the topic? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay?
Resolution 16-272, approving the commitment of funds to the redevelopment project located at 110 South 28th Street as proposed by Brinshore Development LLC.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I will be abstaining on this as my husband's company works with this company.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Sandow,
Nay.
Watson,
Aye.
Head,
Aye.
White,
Abstain.
Ringenberg.
Aye.
Resolution 16-273, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute Iowa Department of Transportation Addendum Agreement Number 2012-4-189E in connection with the I-29 Interstate Projects Improvement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Just so folks know, there are so many different agreements that we as a city have to enter into with the Iowa Department of Transportation with regard to the largest, believe it or not, it'll be the largest interstate by size and, well, at least amount, maybe not size, but certainly close, in amount for sure, improvement in Iowa history. And so there are a lot of agreements as to the ground that gets moved. You noticed all those shifts. And so a lot of documents, a lot of difficult staff work that gets done to make sure all this gets done safely and appropriately. And this is one of many that have happened and many more you'll see.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Resolution 16-273, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute Iowa Department of Transportation Addendum Number 2015-4-210E in connection with the I-80 interstate improvements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Resolution 16-275, confirming the appointment of John Finnegan as the city's representative to engage in collective bargaining negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 1.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Resolution 16-276, confirming the appointment of John Finnegan as the city's representative to engage in collective bargaining negotiations with the Council Bluffs Association of Professional Firefighters Local 15 employees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Resolution 16-277, directing the advertisement for sale of 2,810,000 taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2016B, and approving electronic bidding procedures and official statement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Resolution 16-278, directing the advertisement for sale of 6,095,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2016A, and approving electronic bidding procedures and official statement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Applications for permits and cancellations, 7A1.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any citizens' written requests to be heard?
None received.
Anyone from the audience wishing to address the council? Name and address for the record.
Bruce Kelly, 864 Mackenzie Avenue. After last session, I decided it was too much going on, so I didn't say anything about the bike trail and from Sims, the Fairway. And in Fairway, they did do a bunch of work, and I got to praise Fairway. They've put sod in, they are out there watering it and making sure that it is nice. And the other thing, you guys have all here, you discuss, haven't been coming to the study meetings and everything, but you are elected to represent us, and I've seen so far that you guys are doing your job, you are asking questions and everything else. And just like for Al, I remember the old saying, I'm with the government. I'm here to help you. I think
Run.
we've all heard that one. Because I worked for the railroad, and that was the one where you go, oh, God, they're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone from the council?
Well, I wanted to, I thanked them this afternoon, but this evening, in case other people see it. And frankly, I was reminded of this award that the Recycling Center received when it popped up as a notification on the garbage app that you can sign up for. If you look for it in the Apple Store or in the Play Store, you can find My Waste.
Not an oxymoron, is it? The garbage app?
I didn't even see that one coming. All right. That's a good one. It's important to know that the Iowa Recycling Association has named the Council Bluffs Recycling Center the winner of its 2016 Recycling Program of the Year Award. And maybe you didn't know this, but a little over half of what used to get thrown into the landfill, so it was of no use to anybody, wasn't particularly good to the environment, and cost a fortune to have it sit there for hundreds or thousands of years, sometimes hundreds of thousands of years if it's plastic, heavy plastic. We now, as a community, congratulate yourselves. You now recycle over half. We recycle over half of what would otherwise end up in a landfill. And so this saves the environment. It creates jobs at the recycling center, and the recycling center actually runs at a small profit for you. And so ours is second to none in the state, and as this award literally shows, it's second to none. And so the good folks out there who work awfully hard, always remember to separate things and try to follow the rules. And more of us, I admitted this afternoon until about 2.5 years ago, I really didn't recycle at all, I'll be honest. I didn't. Was shamed into it by a neighbor, and it took me a few months to really get into it. But maybe you're like me and thought it'd be a lot of trouble, and it really isn't. Sometimes it's hard to break habits, and I'm slow when it comes to change like that. But I could do it. You can do it. And then you'll discover that you throw away far more stuff than you should. I discovered, for example, I wasted a lot of paper, and so I've tried to be better about that. And I encourage you to be like that too. If you were like I was and really didn't participate in it. Most communities don't have a system like we do, where they come right to your curb, or have places at the grocery stores, among other places. Let's keep doing better and help those folks. The recycling center, it creates jobs, it saves you money, and it helps the environment. So congratulations to the hard workers at the recycling center.
Thanks to the people that you have that have made this city safe down there where they work. I've never seen any 900 and some days.
Yeah.
Oh, Public Works, absolutely.
Yeah, they've got good people whose safety. Yeah, you should. That's a good.
It's really
It's,
impressive.
my recollection is correct, 975, or it's probably 980 days now of no on-the-job injuries in the Public Works Department. And that is a very labor-intensive job, working around machinery and solvents, both corrosive solvents, both hot and cold. And so to make that concerted effort that no worker has been injured now for over 2 years and 8 months is pretty amazing, and saves the taxpayers a lot of money. And today's world, a workman's comp claim with the hospitalization can easily be in excess of 6 figures, and so, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx them for tomorrow, but pretty amazing. So.
We were just talking, Al and I were quickly looking at the calendar. We won't have another council meeting before the election, so just a reminder to please, everybody, take time to go vote. You can vote now, early, you can vote through the mail, you can vote on the day of, there's so many options, and truly is very important. So I hope that everybody takes time out of your busy schedule to go vote.
Anything else? All right. With that, we're adjourned. Thank you. Have a great week.
We have a
At Council Plus Savings Bank, you still get personalized customer service.
We have identity safe checking with LifeLock, identity theft protection.
You get personal mortgage lending to fit your needs now and in the future.
You get business banking with the latest technology because saving you time saves you money.
At Council Bluffs Savings Bank, you get people who answer when you call and local employees who are actively involved in our community. Council Bluffs Savings Bank, hometown banking the way it used to be.